Hi, I'm Laura Hoy for Benzinga, and here's a look at what you can expect from the markets today, Wednesday, December 4th. Federal Reserve taper talk has taken hold of the markets yet again ahead of the closely watched non-farm payrolls data due out on Friday. Most are expecting to see an increase of 180,000, which would be below October's figure and slightly below the monthly average. However, most would still consider it a solid reading. Also out on Friday will be an employment report, which many believe is closely tied to the Federal Reserve's taper timeline. Italy's economy minister gave an interview on Tuesday in which he said Silvio Berlusconi's exit from the Italian parliament will give the government some much-needed cohesion. Without Berlusconi, Enrico Letta's government holds a stronger majority and will find it easier to make the necessary changes. With tension in Asia running high due to China's newly declared air defense zone, Vice President Joe Biden is set to visit Beijing to try to smooth things over. Biden will likely try to talk China into de-escalating the situation during his visit. After the Ukrainian government backed away from an EU trade deal and sparked protests across the nation, a confidence vote was held on Tuesday at which the Ukrainian government easily survived. The opposition fell 40 votes short. Australian GDP data released on Wednesday showed that the nation's economy expanded at a slower rate than was expected. Australian GDP increased by 0.6%, below the expected 0.7% rise. The news could prompt a sooner-than-expected rate cut from the Reserve Bank of Australia. Asian markets were mixed on Wednesday. The Japanese Nikkei was down by 2.17%, and the South Korean Kospi lost 1.12%. However, China's Shanghai Composite was up by 1.31%, and the Shenzhen Composite gained 1.39%. European markets were down across the board. The UK's FTSE was down by 0.95%, and the Eurozone Stock 600 was down by 2.06%. France's CAC 40 was down by 1.65%, and Italy's MIB lost 1.95%. In commodity markets, energy futures were higher, with Brent futures up 0.03% and WTI futures up by 0.18%. Gold lost 0.12%, but silver was up by 0.26%. Industrial metals were mostly lower, with aluminum down 0.20%. and tin down 0.22%. In currency markets, the euro lost 0.13% against the dollar, and the pound was down 0.11% against the greenback. The dollar gained 0.26% against the yen and 1.27% against the Australian dollar. Wednesday's economic calendar will be a busy one, with releases including U.S. new home sales, U.S. crude inventories, U.S. ISM non-manufacturing PMI, Eurozone retail sales, Eurozone GDP, the U.S. Beige Book, and services PMI data from the Eurozone, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. And that's it for Wednesday's Market Primer. I'm Laura Hoy for Benzinga. Good luck on your midweek trades.